coloring the terminal. Now, as you know, machines are different, terminals are different. Depending on your machine, it is not going to be the same as what I show in my terminal would be able to print. So it's better to check whether your terminal is capable of doing coloring, whether NCURSES is capable of coloring your terminal. So there are a few things we can do actually before we start coloring our terminal. So let me introduce some functions first. So NCURSES have one functions that is called has colors. So that returns a true false symbolic constant, and by that we can actually check whether we are able to, or NCURSES is able to color our terminal, show colored output in our terminal or not. And after we check that, there is also another function which is start color that initiates all the coloring functionalities that NCURSES has to initiate, just to put it simple. So it actually returns an OK, which is another symbolic constant defined in the NCURSES header file. So let me demonstrate that first. First, I'm checking if my terminal has the color capability. So has colors, and as it says true or false, I'm just saying if not true. So that means if I don't have coloring capabilities, if my terminal doesn't have coloring capabilities, then I will just end window and return 0. That means I'm just finishing my NCURSES session, and I'm just returning from the main function. Then I'll check if start color is not equal OK, and OK is defined in NCURSES, as I mentioned. It's defined in the NCURSES header file. Okay, and let me add a space here. All right, in both cases we will do end win. So we are finishing the NCURSES session, and we are just finishing our main function, the main execution of the program. So these are the two checks before we put coloring in our terminal. Or let's say we are building a software and we want to distribute it to multiple customers. We definitely need to make this check first, and we need to have our exception cases ready to show what we want to show users what we want to tell them, like, hey, you don't have coloring support your terminal, so and so. You understand what I'm trying to say. So here first I checked if my terminal has the coloring capability or not. And remember, this start color function is inevitable in all coloring cases, because that initiates all the coloring functions that we'll be using afterwards in this video. So that start color function must be called before we do any sort of coloring in the terminal. So after we do that, let me try to see printw how many colors my terminal can actually display. So I'll say %d colors are available, and that is actually colors. The number of colors my terminal is capable of displaying, that number is defined in a constant which is already declared in NCURSES header. So that's a constant here. So if I do that, and let me try to put the refresh function here and the blocking getch function. All right, let me try to run it now. Let me just clear it. clang 0302 and my NCURSES library. All right. Oh, that's awesome. I have all the 256 colors that are available in my terminal, so I'm good to go. There's also another constant. available in the NCURSES library, which is called color pairs. Color pairs are available. Color pairs, yeah. And I'm gonna talk about color pairs in a bit. That's the perfect number. I have all the color pairs available that NCURSES have, so that's great. So now, as I have those, let me try to do some coloring. So you can see here another function I have called init pair, or initialize pair. Now what is a color pair? So color pair, the first argument here is a determiner or an identifier, let's say. So we can identify a pair by numbers, integer numbers. And the second argument here is the foreground color, and the third argument is the background color. So anytime we show something in the terminal, we first have a foreground color and a background color. So here, if I talk about this one here, you see this is a text, and the text color is the foreground color, and whatever is in the background, right now it's all black, so the background color is black. So we can define a foreground color and a background color of a text in the terminal. Let me actually show that. So let's first initiate a color pair. So I'm gonna do is, first we have checked that, okay, whether we have the coloring capability available. Now I am initializing, or I'm declaring, not initializing, I'm declaring some color pairs. Actually initializing color pairs, that's correct. So the first color pair, so I'm saying 1, and what color I want as a foreground. So let's say I want color white with a background of color blue. Let me initiate another pair, and with identifier 2, and the color I want is, let's say the foreground color I want is red on a yellow background, let's say yellow background. Okay, so 2 color pairs. So right now we just initiated the color pairs. We haven't applied them to anywhere. How can we apply them? We can apply them the same way we applied attributes in the text, right? With the attr on, remember the attr on, attr off methods? We can do the same. We can apply the color pairs the same way. So let's say I have some text here. Let's say this is white text, and let's add a new line. And here let's say this is red text, because my first foreground color is white, the second one is red. Now what I want to do is I want to apply the first color pair to this first sentence here. So let me add a, okay, same thing, we'll do attr on, and we'll say which attribute we want. We want the first color pair, and for that we have a method here, color pair, and then the identifier. All right, that's it. For the second one, I want the color pair number 2. Excuse me. All right, so at this point I should have the colors in my terminal. Let's actually save and see what happens. Awesome, that's working. That's working. So I have a white text, and I have a red text on a yellow background, and the white text on a blue background. Perfect. Now as I can do that, just want to show you that we can combine multiple attributes as we did earlier. So let's say the first one, I want to make it a bold text. The second one, let's say I want to make it blinking, just to make it annoying. All right. So I'm just combining multiple attributes in one function with a color pair in there. Recompile, run it, and we see the output there. Perfect. So that is just adding colors in a text. We can also put a background color on a window. So we have our standard screen, right? And we can put a background color on the entire window by a function called bkgd, which is in short background. And this function can take either a character, or we can also put attributes, sorry, a color pair in there as well. So let me initiate another color pair here. Init pair number 3 with a color, foreground color, let's say, which color can we take? Let's say green on red. I'm really bad at color combinations, as you can tell. Okay, color magenta on a color white. Okay. I don't know how that would look like, but let's just add that color pair as a background. So let me add color pair number 3 here, saving that. So let's first analyze what's happening here. So first I am putting an attribute first color pair, which might be bold, so that goes to this text. So the first text would have these, the second text would have color pair 2, and then we are coloring the entire window. So at this point it will overwrite all these things, right? So it will all be color pair number 3. These attributes, we won't see them in the output. Let's actually show that in action. See, we don't see the attributes there. All we see is color pair number 3 in action. We don't see the other 2 attributes. So in order to see that, we need to first put the background here. Oops. And then let these attributes override that background and be applied on their specific text where they're applied. So now if I recompile it, you see this working. And one other thing that I want to show is this background function. As I said, it can also take character as input. So let's say I want to put a dot in the entire, I want to fill the entire window with this character, which is dot. Let's see what happens. NCURSES is so much fun. You see, they're all dots. Now, if I just take this function from here to here, you won't see these outputs here though. You won't, right? So all of the terminal would be filled with dot, and these 2 attributes won't be seen in the terminal. So let's see. Yeah, we don't see them. We don't see those attributes in here. All right. So remember, this background, it actually overrides all the attributes it has before, and it's applied on the entire window. So what else? Let me do another thing. Let me do this. So after the first, actually let me remove all this space here. Okay. After the first attribute is set, I want to refresh and I want to wait. Then we want to see the second attribute and refresh and wait. Then I want to see the entire window being filled with this dot, and then refresh and then wait to see the output. Just for fun, let's see if that works. Okay, the first one, and it's waiting for a key press. The second one, waiting for a key press. Great. All right, that's it for now. Thank you.